Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank the invitation for coming this afternoon. My name is Pedro Almeida, and I'm representing ADICT, which is the agency for the creative industries in the north of Portugal. And I'm coming as well from the University of Aveiro, which is one of ADICT's founding members. I will try to conclude this session by presenting a design perspective with regards to what can be the relationship between design and industry with regards to the sound design for electric vehicles. And it is a challenge and it is also an opportunity to engage designers and producers within such interesting debate. First and foremost, I would like to introduce ADICT as the Creative Industries Association in the north of Portugal, which is a platform for linking traditional industries and creative activities. So the main role here and the main perspective that I will try to bring aims at discussing and presenting what are the main subjects behind design approaches and what are the main fundamentals behind strategic design and design management as a means to control and promote and activate this sort of relationships. So basically, ADICT is a platform aiming at triggering economic, social, and cultural development at the local and regional level, acting to contribute to the development of entrepreneurship and the creative economy by bringing together various disciplines, which is involving people with different backgrounds and involving disciplines across various agents. Such a platform for bridging a gap between, I would say, distant cultures and different mindsets could be positioned and placed in relation to what has been a certain difficulty, especially in Portugal, to relate what is the industrial sector and creative activities. Many times we talk about different languages, different ways of thinking problems, and different ways of developing products in relation to society, and also different interests with regards to productivity, economy, and social interests. So such interrelatedness between different activity sectors is particularly relevant in contexts where a design consciousness or a design awareness is still emerging. So I think Portugal is cultivating this idea of considering design as an effective tool for enhancing productivity and to enhance production. However, it is well known that design has largely contributed to better relate people within the environment through objects, as well as it is an activity that proved beneficial to organizations, to economy, and it is true at various levels. So I would like to introduce a basic idea of design. And we have design, designers, technology, and needs. We could pose this sequence in a different order, perhaps, in the sense that technology needs design and designers. And this is particularly true if, in the broadest sense, we consider that designers are mediators of the processes of cultural transformation. There are plenty of authors arguing that designers enable innovation through the cultural interpretation of technology that can be then applied to products, communications, environments, and product service systems. In the basic sense, designers are trained to be agents who are capable to understand the problems that companies tend to face, as well as to address the people's needs. Objects serve the purpose of people, basically. So in the present day, urban culture, for example, the absence of sound in electric vehicles represents or can represent risks and challenges at various levels that designers should be able to address in collaboration with producers. Moreover, designers are now likely to engage in social research as they are in the making of form, or for example, sound. And I will come back on this idea with regards to ethnographic research, for example. In some examples I've been given this afternoon, for example, not only from the perspective of the producers of these vehicles, also the perspective of who actually drives those vehicles, but also from the perspective of the outsider people who are not directly related with those vehicles, but can suffer the consequences of it. And the last presentation was one of those examples. So I would say that design is moving, is developing, and the tendency is to incorporate or to gauge the cultural relevance which is becoming part of a burgeoning area beyond the intuitive processes of design. And here I would like to mention two complementary ideas which relate design and organizations. One is the traditional idea of design management, and the other one is the strategic design. And basically, or simply put, design management is the business side, or can be seen as the business side of design. It draws from business discipline using project management, design strategy, and supply chain. It aims at controlling a creative process to support a culture of creativity and build a structure for design, so to sustain a business through design. And here I'm referring to companies who use design as a resource for developing new possibilities for the future. And I think here comes alive the idea that designers are mediators, and the idea of cultural mediation is critical to an understanding of design. However, traditionally, design management was seen as limited to the management of design projects, even if it enables innovation and it involves the creation of effectively designed products, services, and communications. However, it evolved to include other aspects of the organizations as well, both at the operational and strategic levels. For example, concerning the integration of design thinking. And here, design thinking it can be seen, for example, in the sense of prototyping or modeling or concept knowledge. There are various examples that we could talk about here, and we could recall, for example, Caetano Bus and the way in which the incorporation of certain components and specialties within design could help them to, for example, promote developments with regards to sound. one conception of design experience, of design management, is focused on the user experience and basically around the construction of meaning or the development of meaning relating to products. So we can see the user experience on 3 levels. There is one approach to products, to information, and to the environment. For example, industrial design, the packaging design, or the service design at the product level. On the information level, we can talk about the graphic design and branding, media design, or sounds. And the 3rd level has to do with the environment, for example, the retail design, the exhibition, the context of use, which is significantly important. And what I think is missing here is exactly another component or another dimension of design. Design has been traditionally focused in 2 and 3-dimensional approaches, whereas, for example, sound opens up possibilities of developing work in a different dimension, as we have seen already in previous presentations here. So there is one level relating to design as the response to the materialization of products. There is the process of managing the resources, the design resources, which, again, within a company aim to respond other corporate levels. What I thought would be interesting to consider within these design management key roles, and this is quite a known model, this one here, could perhaps function or could be thought of as some possibilities to think about the criteria for the assessment of design approaches, for example. One level is to integrate and connect. How, for example, responses with regards to sound design align design strategy, for example, with strategy and corporate needs. But beyond that, how do they respond? How do they integrate products and artifacts and solutions and connect them with the user experience? Another level could be management and the maintenance, manage the quality and consistency of design outcomes across within different design disciplines and classes. How, for example, sound design interacts with the physicality of the product itself. How, for example, does sound relates with an institutional idea or with the brand design. And again, a third possibility, how we work the idea of differentiation and enhancement to enhance new ways of user experience and differentiation from competitors. And this raises, or this comes again to one of the questions that was posed already today, the idea of differentiation and competitors, the idea of scale. How many brands will be producing sound design for car and for vehicles? How do they will compete with each other? From a user perspective, how can I differentiate one from another? How can this be, as was also said in this afternoon, too much information and overwhelming? One of the things that I thought would be quite a responsibility is doing the last presentation, because there are many aspects which have already been said. But at the same time, I find here, with some of these ideas, a structure where many of the things that have been said can fit in. So moving towards the second idea, which is strategic design, basically has to do with the application of future-oriented design principles in order to increase an organization's innovative and competitive qualities. You may think that this is too organizational thinking. However, you can interpret this as principles that can be applied to not only to organizations, but also to other design approaches. And strategic design basically has to do with the anticipation of possibilities. So the foundations of strategic design lie in the analysis of external and internal trends and data. We have seen the external data, for example, from the user experience and the consumer, but we can also see this from the people who actually use and drive these vehicles. And basically, this enables design decisions to be made more on the basis of facts rather than aesthetics and intuition. And I think here there is a shift, and or at least there is a difference between what is an artistic approach and what is a rational and logic approach to a certain problem. So I would say that the main difference between the incorporation of design within such an approach is the sense of purpose, is the idea of responding to certain needs and certain problems and to address what do people in fact need within their own context of use. But again, it is double-sided approach. It has to incorporate what are the needs of the producers and the problems of producers, and also what are people's needs. So design, strategic design has been regarded as an effective way to bridge and bring together various agents and bridge innovation, research, management, and design. As a discipline, it is mostly practiced by design agencies or by designers developing their work within companies and within internal development departments. However, if businesses are the main consumers of strategic design, also the public, political, and not-for-profit sectors are also making increasing use of the discipline, which have to do exactly with the idea of anticipating and cultural mediation. Yet, linking design and industry is not neither obvious nor a straightforward process. And this turns back into this idea of the interrelatedness between design and industry, and why there are so many difficulties in mediating different languages and mindsets, different cultures, the management culture and creative activities, for example. And some authors defend that the current thinking in the management pedagogy has produced straitjacket managers who miss the view of the larger picture, leading to leadership rigidity and the absence of strategic thinking, hence often stifling creativity, which is in turn the foundation for continued success and growth of many businesses. However, the concept of design and design thinking, in this idea of concept and knowledge, or concept/knowledge, has seen an upward surge within creative industries clusters emerging worldwide, mostly due to the resurgent growth of design and the demand for students and young professionals who can apply their skills, their knowledge, their critical responses, both for their career developments and for exploring entrepreneurial opportunities. So therefore, sound design for electric vehicles is a great challenge, and for sure a great good opportunity for engaging and bringing together designers and producers. So to discuss the relevance and impact of creativity within new industrial developments, and to envision different urban scenarios which go beyond the common sense, and challenge tradition, challenge what is commonly accepted, in order to address what are the user's needs with regards to safety, to information, interaction, and identity issues. And this can be done also partially through design. So the main idea, I think, is within these lines. And to all those addicted to creative flows, thank you very much.